how's it going? My name's Alex, and I have been an auto and freight transporter for the last 5 years. And Doug DeMuro just posted a video on the Cars and Bids YouTube channel called "Here's How You Ship a Car You Just Bought on Cars and Bids." And I'd like to add a couple things to that video so that your transport experience can go as smoothly as possible. Now, the goal of this video isn't to criticize Doug. The goal is to add on to the information that he provided. I will say that watching that video after I've been a transporter for 5 years, I think he was very thorough and gave a lot of really good information, and you can tell Doug knows what he's talking about. So I do want to say that I am adding on to, I'm not criticizing. Now, there's a couple things he absolutely said correctly, and that's load or auto tracking or freight tracking. Like, for some reason, the trucking industry is a little bit behind. Tracking isn't fully developed. There's a bunch of apps in the works and stuff like that to offer better tracking. It's actually something I'm working on with my company, but he did absolutely hit the nail on the head with that there is no tracking like there is with UPS or Amazon or something like that. There isn't tracking like that, unfortunately. The other thing he actually pointed out really well is it's not an exact science, I believe is the words he used, and he is absolutely correct, because the trucking industry is very heavily regulated on how many hours we can drive in a day. Any minor delay can throw us off on our delivery dramatically. So a small blowout might take 3-4 hours, but that means then we can't drive the rest of the day, and so it delays the whole process. And this is why it's very, very complicated, or it's very difficult for a driver to know exactly when he's going to deliver your vehicle. So those are two things that Doug absolutely did really well explaining. Now let's talk about 3 things that maybe he didn't go deep enough on, right? And so the first thing is being legal and insured, okay? Now, this is by far the most important thing you can do as a consumer, to look into your carrier. Regardless of what website you use, what search engine you find your transporter on, the main thing you need to do to protect your vehicle is make sure, one, they are legal. And there's a website, government website, it's, if you type into any search engine, Safer and FMCSA, and then you type in company snapshot, it'll probably be the first link coming up on your search results. Or I'll leave it in the first link in my description, so you could go there and type in and find the carrier. Now you're wondering, why do I need to find this carrier on this government website? This website will show you 3 things. Number 1, if you're doing an in-state move, every carrier is required to have a US DOT number, excuse me. Every single carrier. So a US DOT number is an in-state. So maybe you're bringing a car from Northern California to Southern California, that's an in-state move. If you're crossing state lines, or if the carrier is going to be crossing state lines with your vehicle, he has to have an MC number. That's a motor carrier number. And then the third thing is you have to have insurance, and not only insurance, you want to pay attention to the listed commodities. And this government website will give you all of that absolutely for free. So just like on my truck, you can see right there, it says Tow Piglet, that's the name of my company, and it says the US DOT number right there. That means that's all I'm legally required to display. So I do have an MC number, I'm just not required to display that. And so if you type in my name or my DOT number, you can absolutely see that, 1, I am authorized, which means my insurance is active, because the moment my insurance goes inactive, it'll say in red letters, inauthorized. And then 2, you can see that I have my MC and DOT numbers right there in the middle of the screen. And then 3, towards the bottom, you can see that vehicles or autos are listed as a commodity on my insurance, which means that if I have any accident or damage claim, my insurance will pay you out for your vehicle. And this is the most important thing you want to double check when you are hiring a transporter, that they are authorized and that they are insured, because the last thing you want is a nightmare experience where your car gets damaged, and then on top of that, the carrier or the transporter doesn't have the money to pay for it and is underinsured. That's possibly the worst experience you can have. Now, the second thing is equipment sizes. Doug very briefly talked about trucks and trailers that transport vehicles. So for example, he mentioned a 9-car Stinger. That's a semi-truck that can handle 9 cars. Now, generally those aren't that's not the only ones that you'll see on the road, right? So you'll see many variations. Some do 2 cars like my trailer, some do 3, some do 4, some do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So it's all sizes available. And so that means the sooner you need something, the smaller the truck you want to hire. So if you are looking for a transporter and you need it quick, or it's a really short move, consider maybe a 3-car or a 5-car, right? Because those don't have to do so many pickups along the way, like Doug said. Now, generally, that does mean it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, and this is where cost comes in, where Doug didn't really touch on too much. And so I will say, out of 5 years of experience, I've been doing this for a long time, the more vehicles you can pick up and deliver from the same spot, the lower your price can be, right? Now, obviously, because you probably just want only one vehicle, you're only doing one. And so that means it's the highest price per mile, and that's how everything is measured per mile. So, for example, cars get brought in at the ports. A transporter, a 9-car Stinger, will come to the port and pick up the cars and transport them to the dealership. But he's gonna pick up all 9. And that means per car, they're probably charging 35, 40, 50 cents a mile per car. How does that compare to when you're doing one unit or one vehicle? The cost per mile is usually double, if not more. So for one car, you're now gonna pay at least 60, 70 cents a mile at least. And if it's in a difficult area, if it's in a difficult terrain, or if it's a unique shaped vehicle, you like, believe it or not, a 6x6 pickup truck will not cost you the same amount as a smart car, right? So it's like, depending on those things, your price will go up from there. But a single unit is roughly 60, 70, sometimes 80 cents per mile. And it once, like Doug mentioned, once you go enclosed, it's even more from there. Enclosed carriers are commonly charging $1 to $1.50 a mile per car. So I hope this video helped you understand the transport business a little bit more, and what you can reasonably expect to pay, and what to look out for when you are interested in shipping your new vehicle. Like I said, my name's Alex. That's gonna do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.